I also picked up some Oxford heated hand grips. And so I'll be taking photos along the way of the install process. Hopefully it goes well. Right now we've got the stock hand grips on there. But yeah, we'll put on, and I got the Sport. They're a little bit lower profile, so they're sort of not as beefy. There's a little bit more feel through the handlebars. So I'm going to sort of attempt to, I guess, do a little step-by-step on how this heated grip installation goes. Now, I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. Right now this is all completely stock up here, and I'm blocking the light. Yeah, it's quite dark, it's nighttime right now, so I've got this super ghetto lighting thing going on here. Yeah, so I'll try to do a little step by step. I don't know how far I'm going to get. Something I'm a little worried about is how I'm going to run the electrical. I'm really hoping I don't have to take off the tank to do it, but I think I'm going to try tucking it in, kind of running it, putting it somewhere. I want to put it out of the way, like the controls, put them out of the way. I don't need to be able to get my fingers on them, you know, 100% of the time. But then I'm thinking running the electrical through there and in and down under. Hopefully I can tuck it in enough, otherwise I will take off the tank. The grips look like they're pretty nice actually. So this is what it looks like right out of the box. And then from what I hear, there's two different ways you can mount it. You sticky way on a flat surface, or you can mount it on your handlebars. And they're both included. Pretty nice. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is take off these bar ends. Sometimes they just screw right off. There's a hex in the end of mine. Just crack it. I'll do this to both sides. To get the grips off, I mean, you can cut them, but if you want to save them, which I'll try to do, you sort of just shove a screwdriver in there, wiggle the screwdriver all the way around the handlebar to break any glue contact that's in there. To make life a little easier, I'll use some silicone spray. This stuff is really good stuff, guys. It's safe to use on, you know, anytime you remove your gas tank, you take hoses off, and you have a hard time getting the hoses back onto the fittings. It's a good idea to use this silicone spray because it makes life easy putting them on, but it does dry up eventually and it creates a nice seal. We'll use it on the grips if we have a hard time. Sort of just been spraying the silicone, like when you get the screwdriver in there, you can fit the silicone all the way in. And just a few quick sprays has already loosened up the entire grip. You see, look how easy that comes off. And then we'll clean that up. You can see there's some residue from the glue, but we'll clean that up. Try to do the same thing on this side. Now, here it's a little different because there is a plastic piece. Yeah, there is a plastic piece between sort of the handlebar and the grip, which is your throttle control. Little spray. Sort of work it around, and you can feel it slips easily. You can see how, there you go, it comes right off. We got both grips off. It's a good idea to just clean it up with some rubbing alcohol. You also want to get any old glue that might have been on there. Nice clean surface for the new glue. So I wipe the handlebar clean with the rubbing alcohol and just dry fit it. Now, there's sort of a question of how to orient the grip so that this is in the right position. Well, you don't want to have it too far out here because then when you squeeze the lever, you're actually making contact. So I'm going to position mine just out of the way of my lever, and then on this side, we'll route it around like that. So we're going to dry fit the throttle side as well for the location of the way the wire comes out. So when the throttle's open, your cable should be sort of in the way of the lever if you were to squeeze it, but when it's closed, you can see that it is out of the way of the lever. I do give you some glue to use. Already wants to come out, so just kind of do that. Push on. Now the glue actually does set quite quickly. So this is the final position I want it to end up in. You might want to wear gloves for this, guys. Want it about there. Make sure the lever doesn't contact. That's perfect. Really nicely hidden. Not too much, just enough. Now put the other one in. And you want to make sure your bar end isn't rubbing into the rubber piece. Grip should move freely. I've gone and mounted the controller, or the switch. I mounted it with the bracket onto the handlebars. You're supposed to use these two bolts, or these two bolt holes in the bracket rather, to be down here but mine sort of interfered with the switch, with the kill switch, so I just use one of them, and it's not going anywhere, but this is sort of what it looks like. So this is what it looks like from sitting on the bike. Apologize for the terrible lighting here, guys. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, so now that we've got everything installed, none of the wiring is done. We've got this main connection coming from the controller. We've got 3 separate connections. 2 of them are the same, and then there's one that's a little bit different. It's got a clip. And now there's one lead coming out of each heated grip, and these ones both have a clip. So essentially you can't connect them the wrong way. You plug each grip, these 2, with the clips into the 2 without the clips, and then this guy here plugs into the main wire going back to the battery. It's got its own fuse, positive and negative connections with the plug for this guy here. Now something that I wonder about is if I connect it directly to the battery, it should work even when the bike is off, which I'm not crazy about. I took the seat off. Now we're going to connect the main electrical connections. I'm actually going to be connecting 2 things because I bought a tender as well. So this is from the battery tender. I'm going to hook it right up to the battery, and then along with it I'm going to hook up the main from the heated grips. So we'll have sort of 2 things going on there. Start with the negative. Oh, it's actually a bolt. So we've got everything connected. I'm just snugging them down now. Red leads are connected to positive. All the black leads are connected to negative. So now I'm going to try to just clean this all up, tuck it all away. The battery tender wire I want to be sort of accessible, but I may have to take off the right side fairing throughout the heated grips cleanly. Before I go hiding the wires and making everything look all pretty, I'm going to test it out. And so what I've done is, so there's one lead coming from each heated grip, and there's a lead coming from the controller. So there's 3 leads coming into the ballast, and then we've got 1 lead left over, which we simply connect to the connection we just brought to the battery. So I'm going to connect these, I'm going to start it up, and we're going to see what happens. This is my first time doing this, so I hope it works out. Now I wonder if, yeah, so when I turn it on, so when the bike's not on, and when I do turn the heated grips on, they turn on. So I'd imagine I'm going to have to be very careful about that. So we'll turn it on here, just so you won't be able to hear me because the bike is a little loud. But we'll turn it on, and then we'll see how long it takes for the heated grips to heat up. So I'll turn them up to the lowest setting, so I can definitely feel them warming up. Oh yeah, they're definitely heating up. It's been about a minute now, I'd say, and they're not overly hot, but they're still warming up. I wonder how long it takes to get up to temperature. Yeah, that's really nice. Let it run for about 5 minutes, and they get quite hot at 100%. I'm sure they were still getting hotter, but everything works. Now it's just a matter of hiding all of this. Put the battery covers and all that back on, and I've got it so that the heated grip connection is coming out of the front, and I plan on running it in here. I'm going to take out some of these bolts. Hopefully I don't have to take off the whole fairing, just enough to pull it back to get at the connection up here. And then the battery tender connection, I'm just going to leave hanging like that. I'm actually not sure how most guys do it, but this looks okay to me. I took out enough fasteners that I can sort of get this back, and I think I can route this now cleanly. So I'll cover this area up, and then I'll work on the rest. Yeah, so there's the final product. There's the tank bag on there, heated grips, mounted, battery tender. Will help get me through the winter. Yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching.